Hello and welcome. It's David with Agricultural Economic Insights, the co-founder, and today joining you with the Ag Forecast Network question of the week. And I'm recording this here at the end of October. Of course, November 3rd is the big election. And I wanted to show you where the Forecast Network consensus was. And I want to talk to you about an article that we wrote. Going to give you a sneak peek to some of the content we have on the AEI Premium side. It's going to really help you think about what are all the information that's out there in streaming. So again, um, a lot of times we get questions um, that are asking us, who do you support for the election, or um, what is this demographic going to do? And that's an interesting piece of data that can help inform our decision making, but at the end of the day, it doesn't help us a lot as a decision maker. So as a decision maker, we think the questions about probability and uncertainty. So here, these are some of our most important questions. And again, just as a reminder, this is in the demo account, Art Vandelay. A little bit of humor there if you're familiar with Art Vandelay. But the question is, what's the probability of Donald Trump being sworn in as president as of on inauguration day, January 2021. Art Vandelay always predicts 50%, so he's in there at 50%. And you can see where the consensus has trended over time. We got to low uh, in the slip below 40% probability back in August. It's jumped right around 50%. So right now, consensus is 47%. It was about 51%. This was, of course, most recently. On the Senate side was the probability of Republicans holding more than 50 seats in the Senate as of January 3rd. Art's got in at 50%, but the consensus is about 35% chance of Republicans holding that. So what I wanted to share with you is an article that we just wrote, and it's called Election Predictions, Bets versus Models. Encourage you to go in there and read that. Again, the free 14-day trial will let you access that. But a lot of data is being thrown out there. So there's a couple different types of data. First are the polling models. 538 and The Economist have two big projects. These are really big projects they undertake, and so they've been plotting the probability of the outcome elections, and they're giving Biden about an 89% chance, Trump about an 11% chance of winning. The Economist is giving Biden a little more of an edge. I think the way you should interpret these, or at least think about this, or one way to think about these outcomes, is for elections that have, if you had 100 elections with the same polling data, the outcomes would be about 90 of them, or 9 out of 10 would go to the opponent that's ahead in the polls, and 10 out of 100, or 1 out of 10 times, it would go to the underdog. I think that's a helpful way to think about that. Each poll, the data might have a little different interpretations as you dig in and really become a better consumer of that polling data. But we got to think about, given this polling data that we have today and what history would tell us, there is no 100% slam dunk here in those results, and you see those models. So the other thing that we've been seeing here is betting markets, and betting markets predict it's a common one. These have some quirks, and so they're not exactly the same as those polling models, and they're putting in a slightly lower chance of Trump winning, and then also for the Republicans holding the Senate. So the way this one works is you have to buy a share. So to buy a share for Biden to win is about 65 cents. And then if he wins, you get $1 back. So it's sort of an implied probability of about 65%. I'm oversimplifying reality there, but just trying to help you think about that. You should really dig in and learn that. It's giving Trump around 40 cents to buy that share. And then, of course, if he wins, you would get $1 share back. There's some transaction fees. I think you got to keep that in mind. And just going to wrap this up by talking a little about the $1 Bob. Regular readers are familiar, very popular post, $1 Bob. $1 Bob goes back to the Price is Right, and it's the idea that um, sometimes to win the game, you just have to beat your opponents. And so in the Price is Right on Contestants Row, you have to have the closest to the actual retail price without going over. So if you're the last person of the three, and you think your opponents have already gone over, if you just bid $1, you've captured everything below the 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 highest individual's bid. And so that's an interesting strategy. So I share this because we have to know the rules of the game. And sometimes these betting markets, like PredictIt, are telling us something different than what the polling data will show. And the Ag Forecast Network is telling us even something slightly more different. And so um, we have to step back and really think about what they're telling us and not just cherry picking whichever one is the confirms the bias that we might have. So again, elections are coming up. Encourage you to think about the probability of a certain event happening and how that might change your thinking. Also wanted to point out we had the um, super popular article this week. We had a lot of content this week. It already fell through to the other page, but what we're thinking about political reality, Brett and I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and the 4 questions we think everyone should be framing is how much what the candidate says while campaigning did they mean? What they uh, uh, what they meant? Were they going to try to implement? How much of what they're going to try to implement will they be able to affect? And then how much of the effect that they have in office is going to come from issues that land on their desks versus things they campaigned on? So that's going to help you. Really important article to help you sort through this decision and the election and things coming up. So a little bit long this week on this post, but big questions, big uncertainties. There's a lot of data flying out there right now at you. Sort through it, think critically about the implications, realize that some of these are games, some of these are polling data, and some of them are like the forecast network, which are your expectations sized up. So in the meantime, stay curious. We'll be back with a lot of new Ag Forecast Network questions after the election and a special teaser. We have a new project coming out in the next few weeks, and look forward to your listens. We'll give you a little bit of hint. We look forward to your listens. In the meantime, stay curious, and we'll see you next week.